You still? Sorry, I lost that last bit. I pulled my cable out from my headphones. I heard you say the solos. Yeah, I can't believe it. I managed to somehow leave my phone at home. Oh well. I can't see it here, so I'm guessing it is at home. Right, I am standing over my generator. Can you hear it? Right, I need to change. Right, I need to. Is it loud enough for the? Loud enough for the show? Should I just leave it like this, or can I take it down just a smidgen? Okay, I didn't realise we had that far. Oh, yeah, of course, because of the, yeah, sorry. Oh yes, good point.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots. You have come to the right place, or maybe the wrong place, as the case may be. You got here by accident. Hey, first of all, welcome to all you folks that are watching us live today on Facebook directly or YouTube. Come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com.
Right, Giles, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah? Perfect. Right, I'm here. Everything's been secured. We've got the container, which is great. I've fed Rooney, watered Rooney. He went out for a walk before we went, and we're pretty much ready to go. So I believe this container is destined for the Dominican Republic. I've got the paperwork here for it, so I think we're good to go. I'll just go and have a little check.
Welcome, Sinclair, and this is
Hang on a minute.
Streaming Idiots. You have come to the right place, or maybe the wrong place, as the case may be. You got here by accident. Hey, first of all,
I actually think he's still going in there, which is brilliant. So anyway, I better get out of here. So I think... 1 minute. Yeah? No, I'm not touching anything. No, I thought I heard something fall over. There's no one in there. It's perfectly fine. I'll leave this here. Yeah. See you later.
All this just to save a few dollars on a holiday. Welcome. This is Streaming Idiots, and I'm not Tom Sinclair. As you probably gathered, Tom is on vacation, so we hope Tom's going to have a good time. Greetings to everybody in the chat room. Great to have you along this evening. I can't read the names because there's too many of them, but we're really pleased to have you here. Thanks for coming and watching. And this is a difficult job to do. Filling Tom's boots for 1 week is more nerve-wracking than I thought it would be. Anyway. We've got an interesting little show for you this evening, hopefully. We're going to talk about vMix call in a bit more detail than we've done it a bit before. But before we get on to that, if you're watching us on YouTube, please come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the Watch Live button. You can join in the chat room. There's great folks in the chat there, all having good fun. And, you can join in with the fun too. Also, welcome to anybody who's joined the Facebook group, which is down here. There somewhere. There we are. Facebook.com group Streaming Idiots. If you haven't joined, you really ought to. It's an interesting group, plenty going on there, and lots for you to see. So, my guest this evening, I have with me in our virtual connection. I have with me Martin Steed. Good evening, Martin.
Good evening, Giles. Hopefully you can hear me okay?
I can. And Martin is connecting to us via vMix call this evening, so we'll be looking at how that works over the next few minutes. You seem to be out in the middle of nowhere again, Martin.
Yes, as always, I couldn't do a live streaming show without being outside somewhere. So yes, I'm in the boot of my car, which I can show you later on. Well, I'm not. The kit's in the boot of the car, and I'm in a quite a remote place. So yeah, it's great to be outside, as always.
Fantastic. Well, anybody who's heard of Martin will of course know that he's well renowned for doing his off-grid antics. So we'll be having a chat with him a little bit more later. But let's get on with the subject in question, and have a look at vMix Call, which is a new feature in vMix 19. It's going to make everybody's life so much easier. I should think regular viewers to this show will know quite a bit about it already, but if you've not come across it before, let's have a look at some of the features. Adding a remote guest to your vMix production has become remarkably easy with Video Call. All we have to do is add a vMix call input, send the password code to the guest by email perhaps, select what they're going to see, so that's in this case output and the video resolution and the audio source. When the guest goes to vmixcall.com and enters their username and password, they are immediately connected to the production. Nothing could be easier. This is a real game changer for a lot of people. No more worrying about mix minuses and that kind of thing. If your guest needs to adjust their camera settings, you can press the little camera icon in the top right hand corner of the browser window and choose the different microphone or camera sources according to what they require. If you do change these, you must refresh the browser, otherwise the changes will not take effect. So we treat our vMix call input just the same as any other camera input. It can be put into preview and then switched to program, just as normal. Now you'll notice when we switch from preview to program, the audio for the caller input switches on and off. Let me demonstrate here. Now it's in program, the audio's come on. When we switch back to preview, the audio goes off. This is the default behavior in vMix, and it's what we call the follow audio feature. It's very simple to disable it should you need to. Just look for the input and switch off the double arrows, and that stops the automatic behavior. You now have manual control over the audio. So now when I switch from preview to program, you'll notice that the audio doesn't come on. We can manually turn the audio on simply by clicking on the audio button, and it will light up green, and it will now stay on irrespective of whether the input is in preview or program for the duration. This is quite useful if you've got guests who are involved in a conversation. You might want to be able to hear them when they're off screen. The guest has several controls at the bottom of their screen. This first one allows them to turn off their video and their microphone, and also the preview window. The double arrows enable them to blow it up to full screen, and the end bubble box is to hide the chat. Now, chat is quite handy in this situation because we've got no other way of communicating with our guest. So if we go into the properties of the guest caller and open the call manager, you will see that we get a box with the possibility to type in a message to our remote users. So in this case, we'll tell our guest that they're going to be on in 45 seconds, and then when you press enter, it gets transmitted back to the guest and will appear at the top of their screen, as you can see here. The guest can also type back to you. In this case, the guest is going to type OK, and we're going to see that appear back in our chat session on vMix. So you can communicate with your guests that way without actually appearing on the live stream. There's also some useful stats here. You can see we've got 1280 by 720 video coming in at about 2 megabits, 25 frames a second, and 48 kilohertz audio, and guest is highlighted green, which means they're okay. As I was just saying, it's impossible to talk to your guest off the air. However, Martin Sinclair has been very clever with his design, as usual, as with everything in vMix. So we have some options. We can choose not to send the main broadcast video and instead send external to, and we can also choose a different audio source. So I'm going to choose bus B. So now, because the guest is seeing what's on external 2, we can choose exactly what we send our guest, independent of what's in the main live stream or the main production. So for example, I could just send them the multi-view. So all we have to do is go into external 2 and then select the multi-view from the list of inputs, and then the guest will receive the multi-view, as we can see here. One of the problems with using output rather than external 2 for your guest call is that they will see themselves when you put them up full screen. Now I think it's rather nice to send them a picture of you in the studio while they're talking to you, so that they can see your reactions and responses even while they're full screen live on the live stream. So we can use external 2 to send our main camera continuously to the guest, so that irrespective of what we have in program, they will see me or our presenter, in this case Tom. However, you may prefer your guest to see the show as normal, and you can have your cake and eat it with vMix. We can set up a simple pair of triggers so that when the guest input is put on program, i.e. it's being sent out on the live stream, the trigger can be used to set the external 2 to an input of your choice. So we can do on transition in, set output external 2 to our studio camera so that the guest sees our presenter. Then you can add a second trigger, on transition out, set output external 2 to active, so that the guest will once again see what's going out on the main program. Therefore they'll see all the diagrams and things that you may be putting up. So there we go, it's 2 simple triggers. So now we can switch from the presenter view to the guest, and the guest continues to see the presenter. And if we put something else out, such as a web page, when we switch to the web page, the guest gets to see the web page. But they never get to see themselves unless you perhaps put them in a side-by-side view or something like that. So there you go. Those are a few basics with the video side of things. Now, the other thing is, because we've used 2 buses, you must choose what your guest hears. So if you want your guest to hear your music, for example, you must remember to put them on bus B. If the producer wants to talk to the guest without disturbing the live stream, we can also use the solo feature. So you press solo on the call guest, turn off the master for the producer's microphone, and now the guest and the producer can talk while the presenter is still making a presentation on the live stream. Just remember to invert the settings when you've finished. So there we go. That was a little overview that I pre-recorded earlier because I knew that was going to be far too complicated to do live, so cheating a bit, sorry about that. One thing I forgot to mention in that is, if you do use the solo feature, the audio will go into your headphones, providing you've set your headphones up on a separate sound card, but the sound continues to go to the live stream, as we found just before starting the show this evening, unless you take it off the master bus as well, so just watch out for that one. Okay, so a few improvements have been made to vMix Call since it was originally launched. There were a few problems with traversing some commercial firewalls, and apparently Martin has sorted out a lot of those problems. And there's been some extra video resolutions added and latency improvements and things like that. So it really is worth a look. vMix Call is available in vMix Full HD, 4K and Pro. And in the HD version you get 1 call, in 4K you get 2, and in Pro you can have up to 8 callers, providing you have the bandwidth. You can also change the amount of bandwidth that you're sending out, and we'll probably demonstrate that in a minute with Martin. We're both sending each other 200 line pictures at the moment, so that will be quite visible, and we should be able to just change up to 360 and see the difference in a minute. Okay. We also said we were going to have a quick overview of some of the other things that we thought you might be able to use vMix Call for, because as well as being useful for bringing in guests, it actually has 1 or 2 other potential features. So this really could be the most significant thing that's happened to vMix since NDI was introduced. And in its own way, it kind of does some jobs that NDI doesn't do that are very useful for very low bandwidth uses. I had a chat around with a few people, and we came up with a little list that I've got here. And one of the ideas is that you could use it to link to productions, so that if you've got vMix at both ends, you can use the connect to call feature in vMix to allow you to actually link your two vMixes together, which means you can have two studios that partake in the same production, but they've got their own production at each end. And one of them streams out, or it could even be used for a backup stream, which was one of John's suggestions, a good one there, John, where you have two sites that are perhaps streaming the same production, so that if one of your streams goes down, or if you want different languages or something on each one, you could do that. But that could actually be linked over the internet rather than having to have everything on site linked by NDI. Another idea is that the second location, the second stream, could have different adverts on it, and completely different stream really, but share some of the content. Also, for bandwidth management, if the main production site doesn't really have an awful lot of bandwidth, which is something I suffer from, then it would be possible to use it to send a stream out to another location on the internet that could be used to then send out the streams. Another idea is to use it for remote production. It's quite a good way of bringing in cameras on low bandwidth links. You can use vMix Call on any smartphone that will run the Chrome browser, as long as you've got the latest Chrome browser. So it's the equivalent of using that NDI cam software, but it's on a low bandwidth link, so it will work over Wi-Fi and obviously work over the internet as well. So you can if you've got vMix Pro, you could bring in up to 8 mobile cameras from anywhere in the world using that system. So we thought that would be rather good. How about remote switching? So you might be doing a production in one location, but the producer might actually be somewhere else. So you could use the web interface built into vMix to allow somebody remotely to do all the switching. Or you could, there's some people I've noticed on the Facebook group have been suggesting the use of USB over IP, which would allow you to actually use a control surface to remotely control a vMix setup over the internet. So there's all sorts of potential uses. Somebody else suggested to me, how about remote commentators? So you're doing a sporting event, the commentator can't actually be there with you, but you can send them a vMix call and they can come in and be part of the production, send the audio back and do their commentary. And the last one I've got, I know Martin's got one, is running a 24-hour TV station with it, simply by using a trigger on each vMix call input. It would be possible for the remote producers to connect in at the right time of the day, and as soon as they start up making some sound, vMix would switch to that input and stream it out. So you could have a sort of distributed system, but with one machine doing the live stream. Now I'm going to bring Martin back in because he made an interesting suggestion earlier. Welcome back, Martin. Can you hear me okay?
Hello. Yes, I can, Giles. Yeah, I had an idea earlier. I've been speaking to quite a few people regarding streaming funerals, and a lot of people that sounds quite a morbid thing to do. But when you look at it from a logical point of view, lots of people can't get to funerals either because they live in a different part of the world, or just through work commitments. So the idea to be able to live stream out is fantastic. The actual funeral itself. But if there is a key member of family or a real close friend who wants to say some words, then you can use vMix to bring them in, put a screen up within the church, and then have them actually go live and give their speech or just say their respectful things and actually feel a part of the funeral. And I think with with the whole call idea, this makes it so much easier to be able to do that and make that person feel involved in the whole event. So that was my kind of input towards why vMix Call is such a game changer. And hats off again to Martin Sinclair for coming up with this and making it such an easy application to use. So brilliant.
Yeah, it is a superb thing, isn't it? And I think the uses are endless. I'd like to credit Jens, actually, for the commentator idea. He's just said in the chat room, thank you, Jens, but yes, I think the funeral idea there, or even at a wedding or something, or a presentation ceremony or something like that, where you need to be able to bring in remote people, it's absolutely ideal, isn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It really is amazing, and opens up so many opportunities. And I'm sure there's people out there in chat that have got millions of other ideas that we could use, or they could use the call feature for.
Yes, I was just going to say, I think the chat room will be full of excellent ideas. It'll be very interesting to see what people come up with use-wise. Now, we were saying earlier that it's possible to actually change the resolution. I don't know if people can see how low resolution Martin is at the moment. We've got him actually on the lowest resolution setting. Would you like to try and knock it up to 360, Martin, and just see if it behaves itself, and we'll see if anybody can see the difference?
Yes.
They should be able to.
Yeah, of course. Let me just knock this up.
Oh, there we go. Instantaneous. The difference is staggering.
So there we go. We're now up to
360. Okay. So that's
Would you
about.
like to chance going any higher?
Well, we can try 720-800 if you like, but I think we might be pushing it. I'm just looking over at the streaming machine to see what. But let's see what happens.
I'm okay here. I have plenty of bandwidth here, so let's give it a go.
And I'm just watching the edges of Martin's jacket. Oh yeah, you can see the little jagged edges go. So now Martin's at 720p, so he's the same resolution as me and the rest of the stream. So yeah, that is a beautifully clear picture. It's very, very good, and it just shows how good vMix Call can be. In fact, when Martin connected in earlier, it was at full 1080p, 4 megabits. And we were struggling a bit with that, but it's working very nicely now. So that's really good. Absolutely excellent. How do you find it? I mean, have you used vMix Call much yourself?
I haven't actually at the moment. I have a million and one ideas that I want to use it for. It's just getting that opportunity to be able to put it out there in more of a commercial kind of use. I have trialed it quite a lot, and I have a few clients that I work with that are really interested in being able to do this. And the first thing they've said is, oh great, we have someone within the company who's based in America, or someone within the company who's based in Australia. It'd be great to bring them in because they're key in this particular area, and would like you to come in and put like a presentation together, or at least allow us to be able to stream out to the rest of the group. So that's really, really good. That's really, really good. But no, I haven't had the opportunity yet to actually go and, go full tilt at it and give it a real good bash. But I'm sure it will work effortlessly.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's so easy to bring somebody in, isn't it? And yet you can still do the more advanced things with it as well. It's very well implemented, and that's really nice. Because the trouble sometimes with these simple features is that they're just too simple and they become frustrating. But this isn't like that. It really works very well. Okay, so I think I think my notes have run out. I think I ought to just talk. They were saying in the chat room, by the way, that you look prettier.
This is definitely live. My generator's gone off, so I just need to go and restart it before I shut down.
Oh dear, yeah, we
so
were having a bit of a problem with that earlier. We will bear with you. Yeah. I guess you can hear me while you're walking. They were saying in the chat room that you look prettier at 720.
I never look pretty.
Well, you can tell this is live. You know, Martin's out in the middle of nowhere and he's running on a generator. And yeah, it keeps stopping for some reason this evening. So there we go. It's causing a few slight issues. So anyway, we'd be interested to hear in the post-show what you might be going to use vMix Call for. And so I think what we will do now is to thank everybody for watching us live, and we will prepare to go into the post show. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Quite a short show this evening, but I promised Tom I'd keep it short. So Tom will be back next week, and I'm guessing that it's going to be at an earlier hour for some of us because of the daylight savings. But anyway, we'll talk about that in the post show. Thank you so much for watching. Do tune in next week. Please stay around for the post show. We shall be here for a little while yet, and I'm hoping Martin will stay with us as well. Okay, so until next time, thank you for watching, and I hope it's not been too painful with me.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
And we're out. Well, that was fun and nerve-wracking. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And it was quite a short show this week, I think, about 25 minutes, I think. So that should be one of the shorter ones we've done. So a very good evening to everybody in the chat room. I'm sorry I've not really had a chance to say hello to anybody this evening. If you did pose any questions for us, would you be so good as to type them in again? Because scrolling back through, there's an awful lot in the chat here. So Martin's got all his gear with him. I know there were some people interested in his microphones, particularly the ME3 that he uses for drowning out his generator. So we're hoping that he may be able to actually do a little demonstration of that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. vMix going to 19. I think it's going to be around the time of NAB. It may be just before, but I don't have any inside info on that, I'm afraid. Let's switch back to this input until we get Martin back. Thanks, Tom. Did you actually manage to see us in the end then, Tom? So, yeah, the difference between Tom's show and what I normally do is that Tom is very much on the camera all the time, and I had to really give that some thought before I came on here. When we do our little show, it's we just switch the cameras on and go, and it's quite different. But Tom does a lot of work to get these shows off the ground, and that's why they're so good. That's why we enjoy them so much, I'm sure. Right, let's have a look. Right, when will vMix Call be on iOS devices? I'm guessing that'll be when there is a browser that supports the WebRTC, which is the technology that vMix Call uses. How are you doing, Martin?
I'm just reading some of the comments in chat. Yeah, it's up and running again. I put some more fuel in, but it was quite difficult. It went everywhere. But anyway, I haven't gone up in flames, which is
Not yet.
and it seems to be behaving itself.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
You're an iOS man. We had a question about vMix Core working on iOS devices. What's your take on that? Is there a browser that supports WebRTC on iOS?
I had to use Chrome, so I sometimes use it on my Mac and then just install Chrome. But it has to be the latest version of Chrome for it to work. So I have used it. It's been successful. I struggled on a mobile phone. On my iPhone 5S, no, wouldn't do it. So the app that I downloaded from the store just wouldn't play with it. But maybe that's changed now. It's been a while since I tried it. But on my MacBook Pro and on my iMac, not a problem at all. Install Chrome, off you go.
Fantastic. Okay, so hopefully that answers the iOS query there. I didn't. Yeah, Jamie. Yeah, thank you, Jamie, for that question. Now then, oh no, did Martin get eaten by a bear? Yeah.
Oh, no, it's yeah. He's not walking anymore. That bear. He's limping around over there somewhere now. We did have a few words.
Yes, well, I should think.
It's
Are they best barbecued, or do you prefer them raw?
either, to be perfectly honest. I'm not fussed. I quite like some rare steaks and things. So yeah, however it comes.
Excellent. Yeah, I must admit I prefer a steak. Nice and rare, juicy and tasty. Apologies to all the vegetarians who might be watching.
Oh yeah. you might just see a car. There's a gentleman who's been out walking his dog, and he's just got in his car. So I think he's going to cut behind me now. So you see it going. It's actually quite nice. There's someone around for a change. Normally it's dead. So. Yeah, actually, there's another car over there that I never noticed as well. So,
all right.
I don't know where they are though. Anyway,
shall we have a chat about your ME3 mic? Because a lot of people have been asking in the various forums about what it is you use to drown out that generator, which we can barely hear it in the background there.
I've brought it really close now as well. So I'm literally probably 6 or 7 feet away from it. If I go over to the other camera, I can show you how close I am to it at present. Let me just do this. Okay. That is the little generator there. So I'm probably 7.5 feet away. It was a bit further away, so I'm guessing you can probably hear a little bit of a rumble in the background. But overall, it shouldn't be too bad. And I am currently using the Sennheiser ME3 microphone and a Sennheiser wireless pack. And funnily enough, it's actually going into this camera. So I'm connected to this one. So if I want to go for a walkabout, I can. What I might do actually is switch the internal microphone on this camera, so you can actually hear what I'm hearing here on this generator. From this generator. I can't believe that you guys don't really pick it up because it is ridiculously loud. So, would you like me to do that now?
Yeah,
Giles?
go for it. Let's hear the difference.
Okay, I'll get up. I'll just switch back over to the other shot. And we'll go do it. Okay. Right, so I'm still using the ME3 at the moment, but if I switch this over, okay, you should now be hearing the generator.
That's a lot then. Yeah, the generator's almost draining it out.
Yeah, so what I've done is I've put the so I have two channels on the audio, so I'm going to the left hand side, and then I've just literally activated the internal microphone on the camera on the right hand side, so that you can hear the difference. So I'm now standing probably I must say I'm 8 feet away from it, maybe a bit less. So hopefully it's quite clear. And there she is.
Yeah.
There.
It is staggering difference. There was a wow from Matt B in the chat room, presumably at the difference. I mean, it really is quite staggering. I mean, I should think even back where you were sitting down, if you put the other mic on, it's going to really pick up a lot of noise, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll sit down here. So this is throwing everything around. I shall sit down here. And I will flick back. So this is my setup as well. I'll switch off the infrared. There you go. So I'm have a little monitor there. I can see chat, and then I'm literally working from the boot of my car. Anyway, let's put the infrared back on again so you can see, and I will activate. And so you should be hearing it again now.
Yeah, that is staggering. The noise level really comes
up. I've switched it off again now, and you should be hearing me nice and clear. Let me go back to the other shot for you. There we go. So yeah,
Okay.
I just have a little switch on the side of here that I can toggle on and off to give you external sound, and then the microphone sound. So hopefully that's been of use.
Excellent. Well, there's certainly plenty of discussion going on here about it. Guest 67's comment just scrolled off my screen. It says, "Where am I streaming from? My home location?" Yes, I'm streaming from the UK. And do I have Tom's PC access via remote control to do his show? That would have been quite fun and interesting, probably fairly terrifying as well, not being able to be fully in control of it. But no, he's sent me the bits and pieces so I could put it together. He actually sent me his presets, and I've just modified it slightly to make it work for my setup. But didn't have to do too much. It basically worked, which is good news. How am I appearing vMix call with your green screen? Curious. No, well, I'm actually streaming out directly. I'm doing it the same way Tom does. I have a PC over there. Actually, it is over there. Little laptop which is doing the live stream direct to Tom's YouTube channel, and so the stream's coming from here. But you're seeing Martin. Wow, I actually pointed the right way for the first time. I'm slowly getting used to this. Martin is coming in via vMix call. So now you're doing vMix to vMix from your Go box. Is that right, Martin?
That's right. Yes. I have the Go box, and it's working flawlessly. Even with the generator going off several times, my UPS has kicked in, and it hasn't upset the Go box at all. So. Fingers up, great, thumbs up, absolutely fantastic. So yes,
it's a great box that actually, isn't it? And we're going to be doing a feature on that in the next few weeks. It's certainly stood up to all the those bashings that you're giving it and taking it out in a bet. And living in the rain.
I've had it in some. Yeah, I've had it in the rain. I've had it in a little bit of snow, and it's held up. Fingers crossed, and it's so easy just to literally carry the box, take the screen protector off the front, connect in the camera SDI, and away you go. I carry far too much stuff. I've got bags full of different bits here that really I don't need to carry, but I'm just fearful that if I don't have it with me, I'll need it. So I load the car up, and then I go out and find a nice remote location, which I've done today, and then just plate.
I must admit, I can't. I have to take almost everything with me if I go anywhere on the road. You just don't know what you're going to need, do you? But now I saw a comment from Martin K just now. Basically, what did you say? It was a supercardioid, so it really does only pick up in front of you.
Yes, yeah. What I could do is transfer this microphone over to the other camera, and then just let you have a listen. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I think
Ignore
yeah,
that.
you've had enough. You've had
yeah.
enough trouble this evening.
Yeah, I don't really want to be. It's 4 times that generator's gone down, and I've had other audio issues happen during the setup. So I think I'll leave well alone. But yeah, he does make a very, very good point. They are very different microphones. Yeah, so this is designed to be close proximity, whereas to be fair, he is right. The microphone on the camera is Omni, so it is designed to pick up everything. But I just wanted to really let the watchers know that I can hear that generator. Although it's a suitcase and allegedly silent, as they say, it still does give off a fair amount of noise. So if you were doing an interview in this situation, for instance, it would be near on impossible to have decent audio from someone just using an onboard mic or even a shotgun mic. You would have the same kind of issues. But again, I'm not an audio technician at all, so I have very limited knowledge. But from what I found doing this seems to be the best way to get around this problem when I need to be portable.
Excellent.
So hopefully that made sense.
It certainly works. It certainly works. Tom's saying, is it the ME3EW or the ME32?
It's the ME3EW that I have. I have 2 of them. I have another one over there, so I can go and actually get it and let you have a look at it for those in chat who haven't seen one. So if you want to put the camera back to yourself, I'll go and do that.
Yeah, okay. We can do that. There we go.
Rather than having a big blue chair and nothing else.
That's right. That's right. So Martin was here a while back, and we were looking at the ME3 mic, and it appears to be a noise cancelling design. So it looks like there's a second microphone on the back of it, which will, I guess it does the cancelling by adding negative audio to the front microphone, and it certainly seems to be very effective. I'm not a massive knowledge on microphones myself, so but it does seem to be designed that way. You're right, Jamie. The vMix, if you've got the full HD version of vMix, it should work to the best of my knowledge, but you need full HD to get vMix Cool. So if you're trying to use the $60 vMix HD, that doesn't support vMix Cool. So maybe that's why you're having problems. But if you can actually add the input and do Cool Connect on there, then it really ought to work. And Andreas is saying the same thing. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah, and further down the list here as well. Could be a routing problem, DWAM is saying. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, so can they both see each other? Can you ping one machine from the other maybe? Or if they're on the same network, does NDI work between them? That might be a good test. Right, and Jamie's now saying down here he's got the basic HD version, so that's your problem. But yeah, there's a few little tests you can do there. vMix Cool really ought to work if you've got an internet connection on both computers, and you can get to Google. Then the chances are it's probably going to work. There's a few sort of corporate firewalls that can cause issues with it. But I think Martin has resolved most of those problems, and it can traverse its way through firewalls now. So it's a great feature, and a number of people have said to me that it's possibly bigger even than NDI because it's an already complete, fully working implementation, and it works over all sorts of networks. You're not needing massive bandwidth, and if you get it wound up to full 1080p, it is quite impressive what it will do over a 4 meg connection. I think it's 4 megs. I can see Martin doing things with a camera here. We'll just have a quick look and see what he's doing. Oh yeah. Now we can't see what your camera's looking at because it's on your
you can't. Yeah, I was just seeing if I could actually get close enough in this light for you to benefit from looking at it. And maybe I'll be able to pull something off. So let me switch over. Okay, it's quite difficult doing this when you're...
yeah, it's getting the focus to go right, isn't it? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You can see now. You can see there's a side with the holes in.
Yeah. So this is the front section there. Let me get it in focus again. You can probably just make out... There you go. So those 4 small holes are the side that faces your mouth. And then at the rear, you have another slot there, and the back is fully closed.
Now we were guessing that that foamy slot is the sort of the opposite way round microphone, the noise cancelling bit, didn't we, when we were looking at it?
Yes, yeah. Can people see that okay in chat? It's hard kind of balancing this outside, so if it's not clear enough, I can get a little bit more light.
You can make it out.
A bit more gain, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they're interesting microphones.
Yeah.
They certainly work.
Let me cut back to the other. Let me go back to me. There we go.
The first time I came across
that's a little... Sorry, Giles, carry on.
No, that's all right. There's obviously a slight lag on our connection. Yeah, the first time I came across noise cancelling mics were sort of amateur radio and even CB. You know, lorry drivers often use those. And when you take them apart, there's sort of a microphone in the back attached to the sort of slab of the body of the microphone, and then you've got one in the front, and they're just connected together out of phase so that the cab noise gets reduced, and they're surprisingly effective. Sorry, I've got a moth flying around here. Oh, is it? Okay. Well, while you go and fix that, I'll. Andreas has made another interesting point in the chat here, which we'll just have a quick chat about. Yeah.
You going back to your full shot, or are you leaving on half a chair? Okay.
No, I'll go back to the full shot. Yeah, Andreas makes a very good point about vMix Basic HD. You can, of course, link it to the vMix Cool WebRTC website. If you do it the way that we used to bring in Skype calls and things like that, you may be able to do it through the web browser plugin. I don't know. Has anybody ever tried that? But it's a good tool. It's worth the money for the extra license to get that feature, definitely. Martin K saying, according to Sennheiser, it's a cardioid mic, not some special noise cancelling mic. Okay. All cardioids have holes in the back, so we may be wrong. Oh, well, that sounds like I am wrong. Yeah, it is It's supposed to be a supercardioid, I think. Very, very directional and very close range as well. The sensitivity drops off exponentially as you move away from it. It's a surprising mic, a very odd mic. But I guess these mics are similar in that respect. If you don't stay fairly close to them, they don't really any work. Jamie says he uses vMix Call on basic HD laptop and my 4K version to host. Yeah, presumably doing it the linking in way. And here's a question that keeps coming up. Any news on NDI Cloud? The NDI Cloud is a third-party product, isn't it? I think you need to look at their website. I don't know how much the license fee is to use it, but all I would say is if you're looking for that kind of a solution to do NDI over the internet, it might be actually worth you looking at vMix Call at 1080p and at 4 megabits, because that's a lot cheaper solution, I suspect. Right, Martin says a cardioid is a combination of pressure gradient omni mic and velocity gradient figure of 8, which allows some out-of-phase audio to enter the rear of the mic capsule, hence giving it a directional characteristic. Aha. Interesting. So it's sort of noise cancelling, but not in the way we were describing earlier, if I understand that correctly, Martin. Jamie says basic HD will not allow vMix Call at all. No, that's right. I do wonder though if you can put the I don't know if anybody's tried it, but if you put vMix Call vMixCall.com into the web browser plugin, I wonder if you can connect it that way. It might only be a one-way connection, but you could certainly do it externally, like we used to do with Zoom and Skype. Thank you, Martin. NDI Cloud is from Sienna. That's right. Yeah, if you Google Sienna NDI Cloud, they have a website. And DWAM is saying NDI Cloud is great. Good. So it sounds like it's operational. Is it DWAM? Chris, vMix Call is in beta, but it's release candidate now. The current vMix, what am I running here? 19.33 is the release candidate, and I'm not aware of any versions that have been released since, although I must say I've been so it's a release candidate too, apparently, Andreas is just saying. So maybe there is another version beyond this, but yeah, it's sort of almost production. We've been running vMix 19, the beta version, since it first appeared, and not actually had any trouble with it. Nothing's really failed on it or anything like that. Though there were a few little problems with vMix Call early on, but they were very minor problems to do with running on specific hardware. And I think all that's been sorted out now. So it's certainly worth a look, I think. NDI Cloud is in beta right now as well, but you can join the program to give it a try. Apparently, must have a look at that. I guess you need lots of bandwidth for that, though. Yeah, Andreas, vMix 19, which includes vMix Core, has now released the release candidate 2. Okay, so I need to go and have a look for that. Martin K, every cardioid mic works like that, but would not be called a noise cancelling mic as compared to things like Cole's lip ribbon commentator's mic. Right. Well, there's a whole world of things out there, aren't there? It's impossible to really know everything on these, but I have to say Martin K is a fountain of knowledge, so really pleased that you come along and join in with these shows, Martin. It's excellent. We learn so much from you. 19.35 release candidate 2 was released today. Well, that would explain it. I've been looking around for water leaks and stuff like that today. Our water mains pipe, there's a metre at the main road, and then we've got 400 metres of water pipe, and somewhere there's a leak. So we've got no water at the moment. So trying to do that and get the show ready today. I've not noticed that new release candidate, so I will go and download that after the show. 10 megabits is okay. Oh, well, that's doable, isn't it? So you could do that on 4G or something like that. That would work. I think I got we're on 4G actually now, out of interest. The landline here isn't wide enough bandwidth to do anything more with it, and so we decided to try the 4G solution. I'm actually running the same configuration as Martin, and it's well, this is only the third time I think we've used it, and so far, this is going to jinx it, it's remained reliable and stable. So if I disappear, you know why. It's because I've jinxed it. Guess 67. Any more ideas out there for unique uses of vMix? Cool. Yeah, I want to know some more unique uses as well. Could anybody use this as an ENG service for TV stations? Not knowing the jargon there, guess 627. I'm not sure if that's the same idea as I was suggesting in the main program, but what I thought was that if you had a vMix set up somewhere with calls in it that people could call into with their TV programs, and there were triggers on those inputs so that when the audio started up it switched it to the program, you could kind of have a 24-hour streaming machine, and then as the different countries come online, people could connect to the vMix call and stream their programs to it, which would then get streamed out on the main channel, possibly. Something I'd like to try, just to see if it works at some point. NDI Cloud is H.264, and 4G LTE is, unless you have no 4G LTE unless you have a fixed IP address or VPN. Right. Bring on 5G, I agree. It seems like it could work in an ENG sense. What is ENG, please, somebody? But the live view tends to be the industry standard. With live view, you just plug in and hit go. It sends it over cellular Wi-Fi Ethernet to the receiver back in the studio. Right. The bears come back and call me. He's still offline, Martin. I'm seeing an empty chair from you. Let me put your audio on. Your audio's on, Martin, if you are listening. Right, what else have we got here? Yeah, that should work, Michael. That should work, definitely. Remote reporters calling in live to a news show, running vMix. That's what it's about. News gathering, right, sorry. I'm not into that, so yeah. I've learned something there. Good, fantastic. Electronic news gathering. Yeah, Martin, if you're able to get back in, yeah, the bear can do it. Yeah, the bear can do an interview as well. We will keep going just for a few more minutes, but we're an hour late in some areas of the world tonight. Apologise for that. That's just the way the time zones fall. We decided though not to try and do it an hour earlier because a lot of people would have probably missed the show, and actually watching the numbers in the chat this evening, it did peak just around the time we were going live to air, so I think that was the right decision, but apologies if it's made it a bit late for you. So hopefully Martin will rejoin us in a minute. ENG for TV with vMix at TV station sounds like a good business idea. Certainly economical way of implementing it, I would have thought. It's you can do so much with vMix. This is what we always say whenever we stop and think about how vMix can be used. It's almost endless. Martin Sinclair, when he implemented it in such a flexible way that you can do almost anything with it, and it really is just tremendous. I think I love playing with it, and it keeps me occupied all the time. I'm not happy really unless I've got vMix up and I'm doing something like this, or fiddling about with it in some way, trying to learn some new feature. We hurt the bear's feelings, apparently. Well, it's probably a one-legged bear, isn't it, there, Martin? Android phone with the reporter and Chrome browser and vMix call. Yeah, Michael. Definitely. Again, we sort of hinted at that in the program. Because it's almost a low bandwidth version of NDI. That's how I'm looking at it now. The thing we have found with vMix Call, if you set up 8 calls and you put them all, as you know, when you create a vMix call in vMix, it asks you which output you want to send and what resolution and which audio bus. If you put them all on the output bus, which is the default, everybody gets the same video. Okay, you would expect that, but you can't set different resolutions for each caller. Everybody who's on output will get the same resolution. If you change it on one call, it affects it for everybody. I understand why that's been done. It means that vMix is only generating one stream for all those 8 callers, so it's a lot less CPU overhead, etc., etc. So it's a good thing. And we did some experiments. If you use output and external too, you can actually set 2 different resolutions for your external callers. But what we need is lots of externals so that you can do things like that. If you had 8 externals, or 10 or 15, 16 externals, 12 even, you could give every vMix call its own output feed, subject to your PC being powerful enough to do it. And that would really open up some possibilities in terms of sending things like the multi-view for a remote switching situation, and you could then send the full program stream to somebody else to commentate, and you might want to send the preview to somebody else. Perhaps the person who's doing the remote switching might want a full-size preview or something like that. So it has a lot of potential. And I think as vMix evolves, it's going to be such a useful feature. Right, let's go back to this bear. Oh, it's got a paw missing as well. Jon says the bear is too shy to come on camera. Michael, no satellite truck necessary as long as the reporter has some way to get to the internet. Camera and Chrome browser. What is the limit of vMix call again, Giles, in vMix Pro? It's 8. You can do 8 on vMix Pro and 2 on vMix 4K. I think the thing is, with these phones, actually, if you've got one of these little routers like Martin's running, you can plonk that somewhere where you can get a signal for your 4G, and then it will provide you a Wi-Fi signal to your phone as long as you're within whatever the range is. So it's pretty flexible, actually. And like with my setup this evening, I'm running a beam antenna as well. You plug in an external antenna into the 4G box, and that's actually all running on a satellite. That's all running on a solar panel on a 12-volt battery with an inverter. 125 meters from where I sit, I've got a piece of Ethernet cable going out through the letterbox in the office here, and that's running 125 meters to the Land Rover in a field with a solar panel up on the roof rack, inverter in the back, and the 4G box in the back, and there's a mast strapped to the back of the Land Rover. In fact, I may even have a video of that, which I'll dig out. Hopefully Martin will reappear, and I'll be able to go and find that for you. I will just have a quick look for it. Oops, that's playing hell with my render time, having a window on that on top of vMix. I'll just have a quick look and see if I can see it. It may be here. No, I don't think it is. Anyway, I'll have a look if we can get Martin back. While he's talking, I can have a look for it. My main camera tonight is a Panasonic SD90 Handycam consumer camera, and I thought I'd got it on manual focus. It told me it was on manual focus, but I think it actually might be on autofocus, which is it's focused at the moment, but I noticed once or twice it's drifted in and out. But I've been quite happy with that little camera. There's quite a bit of noise in the picture, but you don't notice it once it's been streamed. But it does mean just here I've got a few little jagged edges on the beard with the chroma key because of the noise from the camera. If I use I do have a pro camera as well, but it's too big to plonk it down here where I've got the camera sitting on my desk, so that's why I'm using this one. But the pro camera does do a better job. You get less shimmering and that kind of thing. So if you are looking to buy a camera, have a look at the picture quality of it if you can before you buy, and you want one with a quiet picture. No, not sort of, you don't want little bits of white noise in the background. I think it's deliberately added to make the picture look sharper, but it does interfere with other things. This camera, interestingly, has manual controls for quite a lot of the things that I've found on the Pro camera. I mean, obviously you don't have the focus rings and aperture and all that kind of stuff. You have to go through the menus to do that. But you can control things like the gain, which is not something I've found on other consumer cameras. But this must be 8 years old or so now. It's probably not in production anymore. But some of the there's some really great Canon cameras around for very good value for money, really. But for what a lot of people are doing, especially doing this sort of thing, I actually think these little cameras are all right. I have gone through and manually white balanced it. I've stopped it back a couple of stops so that I don't get too much glare like here. And on my shirt as well, it's actually managing to render it. The whites are just slightly crushed, I noticed there. But generally speaking, it's pretty good. It's doing automatic exposure, but you can actually say to it, stay more closed up than it would normally be, and it does mean that you don't get a washed out look on your face and that kind of thing. So it's well worth looking at the manual settings on your camera. And actually, it's something I'm planning to do a show with the C920. I found the C920 can be really quite impressive for what it is. The automatic settings on it do tend to make things look a bit sort of washed out, I find. Well, in this room anyway. But when you put on the manual settings and turn off the autofocus so it doesn't focus on the background, it does perform really quite well. I was quite astonished how different it can be. So it's well worth playing with the manual settings on your camera if you have manual settings. Right, it looks like Martin is having trouble. I've drained the EPS now. The amount of times the generator went down, hence my falling very ungracefully off the stream. He's on his laptop for a chat just while he packs away. Sorry, Martin. Thank you. Please could somebody please could somebody say that I thanked him in the chat for me. I can't easily get to the chat to type at the moment. But hopefully we'll catch up with Martin soon. Okay, we're getting close to the time that I'm thinking about winding this down, but we've got just one more point here. Could I use vMix Call in the Pro version to produce a sporting event without running a lot of cables all over the gym or the field? You would need to have a Wi-Fi network that's not got lots of other people on it. One of the conversations we've had quite a lot is if you're in a stadium and millions of people come in with their mobile phones, you not only lose 3G and 4G because they're all trying to use it, but a lot of them got Wi-Fi. And if they're connecting to the stadium's Wi-Fi, then they're using up airspace, even if they're not on your actual Wi-Fi network. It's all noise, and so potentially you possibly could. I think your mileage may vary. I would definitely want to try it out first. I'm not sure if you're going to get full frame rate video in that particular situation, but I'd certainly be interested to try it, as long as it wasn't a production event, shall we say. It would definitely have to be an experimental thing. Right, yeah, okay, Martin, I take it you can still hear us. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday, Martin. I'm going to say thank you to everybody who's watched us live. Thank you so much. Do subscribe to Tom's YouTube channel, and he will be back on Wednesday. So we'll look forward to that. I like to sit down with a beer and watch Tom's show, several beers even. So it's been very different actually doing Tom's show tonight. It's been fun, and glad you enjoyed it. So I think we will wind this down now, and I'll see you in the chat next Wednesday, hopefully. And we're on Monday. If you can't get enough of us, then please come and watch us on Monday. I'm sure Tom won't mind me saying that in the post show here. We're on at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and we do post in the Streaming Idiots Facebook group when the TNT show is on. So please do come and watch us if you've enjoyed this evening. And Tom is also our sponsor, so I'm sure therefore it's okay to mention it. And I'd like to thank Tom Sinclair also for sponsoring our show. Okay, I'm going to go and have a beer, Martin. That's a very good idea. I'll be around in the chat if anybody does want to chat. But I'm now going to shut the live stream down. So thank you for watching, and see you next week.